Your identity manifests your physical reality. And this is why most people, they do affirmation, visualization, they use all manifestation techniques, but they cannot manifest because their identity is still operating in unworthiness and not enoughness. And the identity that operates in that unworthiness cannot manifest the life that they desire. It is impossible to have a life when the identity is not in enoughness, because the version of them that has it all feels happy, joyful, worthy, loved, wealthy. But the version of them that they are right now is not feeling that. That's why it is a frequency mismatch. And the frequency mismatch is because the identity is completely different. So, this is why I want to share with you 3 signs that you are one identity shift away from millions. And if you know that you are capable for more, you have ability, talent, gifts that you can command more money, but for some reason you keep hitting an income ceiling that you cannot break through of, it is not a strategy problem. It is identity problem. This is why in order to receive that level of wealth, income and abundance, you must shift the identity. So what are the 3 signs that shows you are one identity shift away from that abundance? So the number 1 sign is that you can see clearly the $1 million version of your life, but on some level, you do not feel ready for that. On some level, it feels it's on a distance, it's in a future. So there is a disconnect between the version of you that has it all and you don't feel ready for it. Even though consciously you may say it, but deep down when you sit with yourself, you feel that there's something missing. You cannot have that because you don't feel ready for it. Maybe there's a fear, maybe there's shame, maybe there's invisible blocks that are keeping you in that identity where you feel like something needs to fix, something needs to resolve before you can have it all. And that feeling that you have, that's I need to fix this, I need to resolve this, I need to do this, I need to look better, I need to feel better. That feeling that I don't feel complete recalibration of that identity that has it all, that is the shift that is required in order to embody that. And that shift may be to release certain invisible blocks and barriers, the limitation that are keeping you stuck in the identity that you are currently in. Because most people, they do a lot of doing. There's a lot of doing, but the being is separated. They avoid the being because there might be some level of unworthiness. There might be some level of wounding that they've never worked on. And our mind is very good at avoiding. Our subconscious mind is so good at avoiding the things that we don't want to see. So this is why people delay things, people push things away, they give reasons and excuses that I am not ready yet. And that is the reason they're stuck in the same place. They cannot break through because their identity is focused on fixing rather than recalibrating, embodying. And that's why they keep looping in the same level over and over, keeping the same income ceiling. That needs to shift in order to embody the grandest version of themselves. The second sign that you are one identity shift away from millions is that you are becoming bold, courageous, that you are ready to take the leap. You are ready to take the leap towards the unknown. Because the biggest reason people don't have what they want is because they are too comfortable in where they are. And when we get too comfortable where we are, we cannot manifest what we want. In order to manifest, we must take the leap of faith. And that requires courage, that requires you to be bold. Without being courageous, you cannot have it. You have to have courage. You have to make decisions that you haven't made before. And that requires you to see beyond what you see now. And you have to have that trust and faith. Like one of my clients that I've started working with, she came to me when she was not attracting any opportunities that she desired. She's a leader, she's visionary, she's highly talented and gifted in the work that she does. But she could not find the opportunity that was aligned with the level of experience that she holds. And she did 200 applications and she could not find the work that she desired, the way she desired. So even though she was hesitant to sign up to work with me, but she made a bolder choice. She decided, I will go for it because right now nothing is working. I've done 200 applications, nothing is working. She made a bolder choice that took courage, where she's seeing nothing is working out, things are not moving, the money is not flowing effortlessly. But she made a decision that I will invest in myself to quantum leap. So she made a bold decision, and as soon as she made that decision to work with me, something shifted in her energetically. And it was so interesting. As soon as she signed up, she made a bolder decision that took courage. Energetically, she shifted herself. She shifted her identity because she said, I am ready for millions. I'm ready to move to that next level. And that's why she chose to work with me. That was the identity shift in that moment. And it happens with my clients quite a lot. As soon as they sign up to work with me, something shifts in their energy. And that shifts create that frequency that allows more opportunity to come in. So she signs up. And we haven't started working together. She just signs up. So she shifted the way she sees herself because she said, now I'm open for millions. Literally within a week of her signing up, she receives a contract for this opportunity that is completely aligned with who she is, what she wants to do. So they offered her a certain amount. She was not entirely happy with that certain amount because it did not feel that aligned. But she was like, okay, I'm going to accept it because the work is very aligned with who she is and what she does. So she took that opportunity. She took the contract. But you know what? After 2-3 days, she received a call from them. And they said, with your talent and your abilities and the experience and expertise that you hold, we are willing to double the amount of what we are going to pay. So she literally, within 1 week, not only she got the opportunity that she desired, but also the amount of money that she was going to get, it doubled. What does that say? It is the energetic shift that happened in her by she becoming bolder and courageous to choosing her higher level of being by signing up for a program that offers that container, right? So she expanded herself. This is why the external shift happened. The external reality only mirrors the level of identity, the self-belief that you hold within yourself. So I'm giving you this example because we must become bold before, we must choose courage before we experience the infinite amount of abundance, before we experience that quantum leap, before we experience that manifestation, we must become courageous and bold. That's when, because everything you desire is on the other side of your courage. Everything you desire. And the more you hold yourself back, the more you delay. Right? So these are the decisions we have to make. How can I be bolder in choosing higher level of my being? How can I take that step that will allow me to embody the next level identity of my being that create millions, right? So that is the shift that is required. And most people don't. Most people delay. Most people give excuses. Most people give reasons. Most people kind of allow their subconscious to hold them back. And it is all their subconscious patterns and programming that is holding them back to keep them in that limitation. So this is why I gave you this example so you know. And I see that over and over. People who choose to work with me and choose to move into their higher level of being, and people who don't. There is a difference in their decision making. People who choose to work with me, they tend to be bold, they tend to be a lot courageous. People who don't, they are still comfortable in the identity that they are living in. And that can keep them stay stuck, or eventually they may change. But this is the difference between people who become bolder or people who remain where they are. So that is really, really key to realize in order to shift your identity in higher level of your being. The third sign is that you are ready to heal the wounding that is keeping you stuck in the story of you are not worthy, you are not enough. Because doesn't matter how much work you have done, if it is not creating the life that you deeply desire, that means there's something within the core, the root of the issue hasn't shifted. And that's how people spend thousands and thousands of dollars without seeing any radical shift because the core hasn't shifted. You can go to retreats and seminars and you get excited and you get happy, but that is not shifting the core of who you are being. And the core needs to shift. That needs to heal and release in order to make complete congruent shift in your reality. This is why I choose doing the deeper work with my clients, because I want them to experience the permanent breakthrough, permanent shift that actually shifts their life in a powerful, magical, miraculous way. And that all happens from the core of their being. People think that it's safer to remain where I am, but actually it is the most riskier thing that they can do, because the biggest risk is remaining the same. Biggest risk is living in suffering and pain. Biggest risk is keep living in that survival where your nervous system is dysregulated. You are feeling not enough, not worthy. We must shift the core blocks that is keeping the same story going, that I am not enough, I am not worthy, I need to do more in order to become worthy. That is a wound. That is an inner block. When people say that I need to do more in order to be worthy, because you don't need to do anything to be worthy. But that is the wounding that tells them that I have to make certain amount of money in order to become worthy. I have to attract the love of my life in order to be wealthy. I have to have a villa in order to be worthy. I have to have millions of followers and subscribers in order to be worthy. And none of those things will make you worthy. None of those things. Because worthiness is a very internal, radical self-belief. You can have nothing and you can be still deeply worthy. And you can have everything and you can still feel completely unworthy. And we see hundreds and thousands of examples in media of celebrities and people who are well known, who are depressed, who are unhappy, who are sad, right? And they are not happy with their life. Doesn't matter how much money they have in their bank account, right? So it's nothing to do with the external validation. It is all to do with internal conviction, belief within yourself, that love within yourself. And that conviction and self-belief only comes from when you release these deeper core invisible blocks that are keeping you stuck on some level. So if you want to shift that, if you want to permanently make those changes to actually shift your identity where you attract millions, where you are open vessel to create opportunity that are miraculous, then this is the opportunity to apply for my mentoring, where we can shift your identity to that level of being that actually become the magnet it to everything that it desires. So if you are ready for that, you can click the link below to apply for my mentoring. With that, like this video if you like this video, and subscribe to my channel, and may the light in me reaches the light in you.